There we go. We should be up and running now. So the introduction to utility track. So basically across most councils and utilities, there's a common challenge, basically a disconnection between what's happening in the field and what decision makers can actually see and use. The data is being collected every day, as we know, but it's often fragmented or inconsistent or difficult to access when it matters. And utility track is has an intuitive dashboard and easy querying and filtering system, which all asset data seamlessly visualize into a web-based portal. So basically, all of the data being captured in the field is easily accessible, and we are quite easily able to showcase and streamline and visualize that on a GIS type platform. So utility track is an asset management tool that collates and keeps information clear and structured, which in turn saves valuable time looking for various inspection data and prevent duplication works, which is quite crucial. That a lot of inspection programs and so forth that we and other contractors are involved with, we do see a lot of duplications happening just because the data did not end up into the decision-making models and or systems quick enough. And then most field data can be collected using a range of inspection methods as well. This could include, the basic CCTV type inspections or any sort of customized inspection forms, still imagery, and various other techniques as well, all linked to a specific asset being inspected and visualized on the GIS platform. To streamline the inspection of maintenance programs, Utility Track also hosts a work order system to assign specific tasks to various assets structures, supporting field teams and clear instructions on works to be performed. It's basically on any type of activity that is required in the field. It makes it quite easy to select the specific assets that require the inspections. So for example, if you wanted to do any sort of pit inspections, you can select a range of pits either by visually selecting them or by asset ID, and you can create a work order and send it out to field crews to go and capture the required data. So why use it? Basically, without a structured system, inspection investment delivers no lasting value. How many times have you looked for inspection data that has been captured, but can't readily access it or find it? There's so much data scattered across Wbinar drives, SharePoint leaks, and fragmented systems. And we do get a lot of queries about this, where we've got various data sets all scattered and trying to import it into a system that can be utilized and accessed quite easily. And how often, about, sort of key staff and things that we have in the organizations as well, has got years and years and years of knowledge and experience that they gained over time with a deep knowledge and understanding about the asset condition and its performance and so forth, but has not been captured or digitized yet. So a lot of information being withheld within that person's knowledge base. And we do come across that quite a lot as well. And trying to get that information into the system is quite key as well. And then the absence of centralized data also hinders effective day-to-day decision-making as well. So if you don't have this information readily available, making operational and or capital decisions becomes quite hard. Utility Track at the other end brings all of this fragmented data together. It has a full suite of data integration and consolidation options, specifically designed to import live data from the field, but catered to import all legacy data sets as well. So if you think about data being captured currently out in the field, Utility Track has got a live viewing function to be able to capture the data directly into the system and being able to query and filter it from the office instantly. But also any sort of legacy data that's being stored can also be imported and visualized within Utility Track. We've also developed a AI tool or various AI tools to help speed up digitizing of this old legacy data sets. If it's the old PDF log sheets or CCTV video files, and that can all be structured into a format that can be used and basically filtered for any sort of decision making events again. And all of that also linked to the GIS system. And then collating all current and legacy data into utility tract acts as a medium or single source of truth, where data is structured, accessible, and easy to trace and share to the current key stakeholders. So basically, how does it work? At its core, utility tract captures multi-format data directly from the field, whether that is CCTV inspections, imagery, or data from sensory type data sets, and makes it instantly available through a web-based platform. This allows users to interrogate and use the data instantly without needing access to multiple systems or manual handoffs. Map overlays. With various background mapping support, utility tract features a unique function to overlay new construction plans onto the mapping system to scale with the new pipe and pit data easily transferred. I'm sure most of you have come across new assets being installed, and the same repeated asset IDs are being used. For example, asset 123 or manual 123 and so on. And the beauty behind the utility tract is that it has a unique ID allocated to any asset that's being drawn onto the system. Over the system, over and above the construction plan and asset IDs. So this allows utility tract to identify each asset in its own unique location, and more importantly, have the functionality to rename the asset ID when the asset manager allocates a new council preferred naming convention. This means that the asset ID can be updated and the original CCTV file will still be linked to that new asset inspection. So in essence, once a construction plan is overlaid on utility tract over the PDF onto the aerial maps, the pits and pipes are being redrawn on top of that. We will use the asset IDs as per the construction drawings. All inspection data will be linked to that. At some point in time, the asset owner will assign the new appropriate asset IDs to those pits and pipes, and we can get that updated. But all that original video files and inspection data will still be linked to those same inspections. Data collection. To collect the data in utility tract is as simple as clicking on the pit or manhole or pipe or even the GPT and either add the structure informations, the photos, or do condition inspection with the customized inspection forms. We've got different types of tools and things that we can use to add any sort of inspection data to a pit or pipe or any other structures. And it's customizable to the specific needs. And it is extremely easy and fast to get that information coupled to the inspections and readily available instantaneously. So part of the data collection and one of the challenges the crews faces in the field in finding structures that are not mapped or the location and discrepancies. So we find that quite a lot where the guys will start inspecting a pipeline and find a new pit or manhole that has not been noted down on the original GIS data sets and or different routings to be followed. And this can easily be updated in utility tract in the field live as they go. And utility tract has this cover to allow the field crews to add, move, and reshape structures as per field conditions. All these changes are fully tracked and can be flagged or exported to client requirements. The location accuracy can further be updated with more accurate GPS data, and this function allows GIS systems to accurately map structures as they found in the field, supporting the client to update their asset register at the end of the day. You have a very, very good tool in the field to be able to, as you go, being able to update the assets as you find changes in the field. Most contracts in the field, specifically looking at CCTV data, uses WinCan to record the pipe inspection data, but all the data needs to be typed in manually and can cause some inaccuracies, specifically with the pipe asset IDs or pit asset IDs and so forth. It is critical for the CCTV inspection data to link back to the GIS system to ensure location information is accurate, and utility tract has solved this challenge and is fully integrated with WinCan. This basically means that the header data, especially pipe and pit asset IDs, are pushed from utility track mapping to WinCan directly. This ensures that each pipe inspection is linked to the relevant pipe asset ID in the mapping view. Very, very critical to make sure that all information entered in the inspection data is accurate and conforms with the GIS asset naming conventions. And utility track has really done quite a lot to make sure that all of that accuracy is pushed over to the inspection data. Once inspections have been completed, the data is overlaid and various layers can be selected, combining inspection coverage with risk scoring, highlighting priorities, assets for follow-ups, enabling more targeted inspection programs. Furthermore, by visualizing the example, for example, the structural and service grades on the map, we turn inspection data into a clear picture of network risk. This allows councils to quickly identify what needs renewals versus maintenance and prioritize spend accordingly. I just at this stage would prefer going over into a practical live demonstration to showcase some of the additional features within utility track so that it can come alive to you visually. So this is what we call a dashboard view of utility track. On this view, we've got various different statistics and dashboard functionalities. If I can start here at the top, for this specific system and the example, we've got about 3,700 surveys in the system, about 77 kilometers of pipes that's been inspected, which constitutes about 29% of the network that's been inspected, roughly about 500 gigs of data stored, and roughly about 4,500 pit photos that we've loaded into the system. On this view here, we've got all the different inspections that has been done. This is CCTV inspections over a period of time per year split out, and the linear meters per year. We've also got our current system health and the grade distributions, which is your structural grades and your service grades, all split into your categories 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if I can, for example, open up the 2026 inspections that has been done. Sorry, just a second. There we go. So on this view, we've got individual pipelines. On this left-hand column is the pipe asset ID. We've got our structural and service scores. We've got the structural extent. The structural extent is, again, just from gradings 1 to 5. If we look at the linear meterage of the pipeline, what condition the pipelines are split into. So 90% of this pipeline is in a good condition, and it's only the last little bits of the pipeline, the last 10% that requires a little bit of remedial works. And then we've also got a follow-up action with an AI tool looking at various considerations to look at. There's a bit of a cleaning activity that's required and also recommended considering a patch specifically within this asset. Going further down the pipeline, the information, the inspection dates, the locations, the up and downstream nodes, the length of the inspection, pipe material, and a work order naming convention. From this view, we've got various filter options. So, for example, if we wanted to see, give me all the structural scores from grading 2, or let's make it grading 3 to 4, it will filter for only those specific inspections. And from here, if there's anything that you would like to export or share or whatever the case might be, to give that over to any of your colleagues, you could select those specific inspections. And we can click on this export function. And from here, we can say various types of things from, for example, exporting the video files, spreadsheets, which is the survey spreadsheet, observation spreadsheet, rehabilitation recommendations, individual reports. Any sort of spatial data can be exported from this view as well. And we've got different types of data sets can be exported from SC shapefiles to CAD files and so on. And I'll just export those couple just to give you a bit of an example of what it looks like. So this is a quick export sheet with those 4 pipes that I've selected. From here, we have a hyperlink to the video file. So from this Excel file, we can click on the hyperlink and it will open up the video file in a viewer format, which means you can easily send that Excel file to various parties and they don't have to have specific software licensing or access to view that. We have, again, just our structure and service scores, the survey dates, a bunch of attribute information from the pipe asset iris to inspection directions, pipe materials, diameters, the standard it was coded in, and we'll have our structural scores, peaks, means, and average total scores as well. So basically all the information viewable in this simplistic view for us. From this view back into utility track, if we wanted to have a look at any of the specific CCTV data sets, we can click on this video icon. It will open up the video file for us. And at the bottom, you've got the scale bar with the specific observations listed. And you can skip to any one of those observations at any point in time and have a look at that video at that point. If, for example, you wanted to share this video link as it is here to any of your contractors and or colleagues, for example, to cut out this route, you can click on this button here, which is copy share link at current video time. Copy that, click on the icon. You can paste it into an email, which will basically look like this browser here, which is viewer.utilitytrack and that specific link. It's going to press enter just to show you, and it will skip the video file specifically automatically to that same observation. Coming back to this camera view, from here, playing the video, we've got different playing speeds as well that we can look into. Playing the video a bit fast if you want to review that photo video fast. You can right click on the video as well, save the video file, copy video frames, and take various types of photos and things from this side as well. Again, looking at our survey extent now in a more exploded view, this again is 90% of the pipeline in a pretty good condition, and we've got about 10% of the pipe in the grading 345 scenario. If we look at our structural histogram, this is the defects as they listed out per meter throughout the pipeline, and we can see we've got a bit of a challenge here on this specific observation here, that we can look at potential patches. We can also go to asset data, which is a little bit more information regarding the pipeline. All the pipe asset information again, pipe material, pipe diameters, length, profiles, when it was inspected last, location details, and then the connection nodes as well. So any sort of either manholes or pit or curb inlet informations. So this is typically the upstream and downstream nodes. These are photos that's taken from site. If I click on any one of these images, it will open up the image for me in a larger resolution, and we can also zoom into that photos to have a better look at what we're seeing. And the same with the downstream pit as well. From here, we also have a bit of a street view of the pipe location and the pit locations. You would notice on the right-hand side, the viewing angles of where we're looking, just to give us a bit of an orientation. But we can then also explode the street view to be able to see the curb inlets a little bit better from a street view perspective, and can also zoom. So this is quite a useful tool in operation, in practicality on site, to have a look at any potential traffic management requirements, any sort of logistic challenges, And yeah, it just makes it quite a useful tool for planning purposes as well. We also have a little bit of information around the geometry of the pipe or the manholes and so forth. We can calculate various types of flow characteristics based on data that's captured in the field. So if there's GPS coordinates taken off the manholes and we get the cover levels and inlet levels, we can produce a proper pipe profile and look at any sort of flow calculations based on the information captured in the field. Condition is again just various inspections that's done over a period of time. Construction dates of the pipeline, condition models that we can pull in based on age with expected remaining useful lives, and based on actual CCTV data, we can calculate what the remaining useful life of the pipeline should be. Gallery, this is a functionality just for various images that we can import into the same inspection data sets, and the same with documents as well. So any site notes that you might have, sketches on site, any as-builts or whatever other construction drawings that you wanted to pull in, there's a functionality coupled per pipe asset or per manhole asset to pull that into the system. Sharing the information as well, quite easy. As I mentioned before, if you wanted to share this information, this specific inspection, there's a QR code that you can send over, or you can just copy that inspection information and send it off to whoever needs to view the specific information. We also have various pit surveys and GPT data specifically, and I'll open up an example of that as well. So for gross pollutant traps, this is an example of a pit that's been cleaned out. We've got various functionalities on that. We can click on the view map function, which will open up a map view of where this GPT is located. We've got the various types of views and 3D views of that that we can pull into this. We can click on the specific GPT, view some information about the GPT, specifically when it was completed, when last it was done, waste distribution as well. 49% on this one was siltation, 50% vegetation, and then split into the floatables. This is the percentage buildup, the cubic meters of volume that has been removed, and we've got a before and after photo coupled to that as well. Any additional condition assessment can be done on the structures and surrounding structures, and can also be recorded to the specific GPT. Asset information, again, is all the structure information and that has been captured over time. And on the right-hand side, you would notice various photos, and this is photos that's been taken over a period of time, over years, so that you can keep track on the cleaning cycles. Coming back to this view again, you can also explode the photos specifically to have a look at the before and after photos. That's the before photo and the after photo all the way to the bottom, cleaned out. And we also have some PDF reports, which I'll just download one just to give an idea of what that report sharing could look like. Let's open up on a different screen. So this is a PDF report of that same GPT, again with the before photo and after photo and the debris distribution. We know that the photos are quite small on the report, but all the photos have got a hyperlink specifically on them. So you would just simply click on the photo and it will open up that same photograph again. And the same with the after photo. All right. We can also view and edit the structure information from this view as well. So again, similar to before, we've got all the data in here and can be edited with different types of information on there. Why? Also wanted to touch base a little bit before I move over to the mapping side on the work orders. So work orders typically is a process where we can select specific assets for different types of activities. If I can use this one as an example, I'm just going to copy this link. This is a work order that's been completed. We've got also a viewer function on specific work orders. So this is where we had 4 pipelines that has been inspected. A nice little sharing link for the work order if there was a package of works that was put together. And this can easily be shared with different parties. From here as well, easy to view the footage again. Click on the link, it will open up the footage. And the same with the log sheet data as well. Again, from this side, you could filter for various types of data sets. There's also a small little building mapping function of those pipes has been inspected. So if we can zoom in to the layer, and it will start opening up these specific pipelines being inspected as part of this package. And you can click on the asset and it will show you a little bit of information around the pipe and its structural gradings. You can also switch from work orders and jobs to service grades and structural grades as well to have a bit of a better view on what it looks like. All right. Coming to the mapping side of utility track, we've got different types of layers of maps that we can display in utility track. This is a view that's got a bit of data coupled to it for the stormwater specifically, pits and pipes, various types of shadings and things that we can incorporate. For example, if we wanted to have a look at the flow paths of the pipelines to see which direction they will flow to, we can have a good view on that. And then if there's any flow direction inconsistencies, we should be able to see this visually quite easily as well. Similar, if we wanted to find out anywhere on any one of the pipelines, what the flow outlet is or the direction to the outfall of the pipeline, we can right click on any pipe and say trace pit from here. And that will calculate a path of where the outlet of the pipeline should be. On the left-hand side, we've got all of the asset IDs specifically that it needs to flow through, and we've got segment length, we've got the pipe diameter and the location of where it runs through, and you can play a little bit of a simulation to simulate the routing path if it was a very complex network, and it will run through all of these specific assets all the way to the outlet side. Right. From the shading as well, we can bring in any sort of data to visualize to show if there's any surveys available. So for example, on this view here, all the green lines have got CCTV data coupled to it. If I can click on any one of those as well, click on the pipe asset, we will see a little preview screen here. Inspection was done on the 15th of June. And from here, we can also click on the view survey button, and it will bring up a little bit of a quick view of the pipe inspection with the structural extent and the standard of reporting as well, and the operator. And we can play the video file from this view as well. And similar as before, you can skip to any portion of the video to have a look at the specific defects or observations that's been made. Capturing any data to a specific asset. If we wanted to add some information to this or view information about this pit asset ID here, can click on the asset. We can update the data if there's anything that we need to change. So from this is the pit type is a node, asset type, we can put in situations, location nodes, lifting requirements, traffic requirements, any information we can capture around the lid as well can be updated. And various types of condition information can be updated onto the pit data as well. We can also do various types of quick inspections on there as well. So, for example, if there was a quick inspection, you were just walking past and had to have a look at what the condition of that manhole looks like. If it's still flowing, you can do a quick inspection, enter any sort of debris volume in there. If cleaning is required, yes or no, any comments or any sort of rehabilitation that you've noticed on site can be added in there as well. And you can take some photos on site as well and add it to that specific inspection. Street view as well. So if we wanted to have a look at that specific location, you can click on the street view for that specific pit, and it will show you the location from a street view perspective of where this pit is located. Makes it again quite easy and fast to have a look at locations and potential planning around vehicle positioning, traffic management requirements, and potential stakeholder notifications and engagements as well. If we look at the asset info for that specific pit as well, various information being captured on the specific pit, any connecting lines joining into that pit as well, which is quite good to see what the outgoing pipe is, pipe diameter, and the length of that pipe going out, and the same with the incoming pipe as well, the diameter and length of the pipe coming in. Sorry, I just want to open this up again. Any construction dates that we've got in, the age of the specific pit, and any inspections that's been done on that specific pit can also be coupled to this as well. Details around the pit, if we measure the width, height, and depth of the pits, obviously we can do a bit of a calculation on the pit volumes. The lid type can be added in there with some photos, and then the levels as well on the pit depth and any sort of GPS relative levels, inward levels, cover levels, and so on can be captured to that specific pit. And if there's any internal features as well, for example, steps in there, steps or litter baskets within that specific pit. Gallery, again, uploading a lot of photos to that can be done as well. Spatial information added on, coordinates and so forth. You can also attach various documentations to that pit, and then a full work history can be built to the pit as well. If we look at the pipe information as well on the asset data, similar again, various information that's captured, location photos, and things like that as well. And similar to the viewing from the asset data from the CCTV viewer perspective. Various galleries and documents and so forth can be loaded. Adding pits and various other sort of structures. I'm just going to change the system quickly. Just in another testing environment, just to showcase what we can do. If you are on site and you find a new pit or manhole, can easily be added by just simply right-clicking on the map and say add pit here. That will create a new pit into the system, and from here you are able to edit the pit information and change any of the data sets accordingly. So, for example, on the add pit, the pit type, you can change all the different types of structures for that specific pit. We can also draw in various other lines as well. So, for example, if we know there's a pit here, it's a pit here, and a pit here, can finish that off, finish at the pits and pipes, and it will auto-create those manholes or pits with the connecting pipelines as well, where we can now edit and add all the associated attribute information from the pipe data sets to the manhole data sets as well. If we wanted to multi-select various activities and things to take place in the mapping view, we can do so as well. with the select functions, you can either select with individual features or both a polygon type structure. So for example, if I select that and select the specific pipes and pits, we can select that and add all of that to a specific work order. And we can call that work order whatever the data is that we need to do. So for example, data collection, CCTV with a tractor, service location, visual inspections, cleaning works, and various other types of activities, pipe rehabilitations, relinings, patchings, and replacements as well. And also various types of other inspection services and techniques that you can use. You can create a new work order or add it to an existing work order and send that off to the field crews to inspect and or clean and or rehabilitate associated pipelines. You can also have multi-editing tools from this view as well, from snapping the lines to flipping the flow direction, exporting the data sets, and various other things that we can do from this side as well. The individual selection tool, similar. It's just clicking on the individual assets that you wanna add into your export sets or work order sets, and it's easily done by just clicking on the specific features. Got everything in there. Measuring as well. We've got various measuring methods as well into the system. We can select with just straight lines and trying to look at specific lengths of pipe assets, or we can switch it to an area specifically if you wanted to do any sort of areas calculations as well on that features. So from this dashboard view, again, like I mentioned, you can easily capture and access information from here. Any legacy type data sets, doesn't matter where it comes from, if it's visual inspections on site, if it is CCTV inspections, quick view inspections, any zooming camera type inspections, all of it is quite easily accessible and filtered throughout the system. Again, like I mentioned, quite easily extract the structural gradings and service scores and things out of the system to be able to look at next steps. I think another thing that I just wanted to touch base on was the sort of rehabilitation type tools, just for a quick little view of that, what it looks like. So for example, if we look at this specific pipeline, various type of information on the pipe, the software with some AI intelligence helps figure out what pipeline requires what type of remediations, if it's either full length rehabilitation and or isolated patching criteria. So it's analyzed the pipeline fully and has recommended a specific isolated point for pipe patching, which is basically a root intrusion through this joint with a little bit of chipping and so forth. So the joint is now compromised and that root needs to be cut out. So currently the pipeline is not in a terrible state. It's currently a structural grade 3 with a service score of 5. If we approve the specific patch on that specific point, it will now change the structural grading from a 3 to grading 1. And we'll come up with a bit of recommendations on the patching and root cutting events and things that needs to take place, and auto-generate that for you with your costing options from patching solutions to full line reline options. And you can generate a quote from this side as well. Okay. Again, from this type of view as well, easily to access any sort of information. Again, just clicking on the pipe asset and viewing all of the geometry and pipe location informations and things like that as well. And just for a last dashboard view, it's going to open up another example. With the same visual inspections and things can be done on site, we've got various dashboards to showcase what type of events has taken place. So from this dashboard view, these are all the pits or manholes that's been visually inspected, cleaning required, type pie charts, not applicable, and some of them that does require some cleaning, rehabilitation requirements, and inspection status and dashboard view. We also have, and all of these are interchangeable or interclicking, so we can click on any one of these bar charts and view the specific inspections and delve into a little bit more detail on what the requirements are. If we click on the view the inspection details, we will see a little bit of information around that pit or the manhole, and we've got various types of photos also loaded on there with various viewing angles of that specific photos that we can browse through. Same with the asset information, as similar as before, that we can quickly have a view around this side, and an audit trail of what inspections has taken place when and where, and so forth. So quite good tool for accessing information quite quickly from a visual inspection perspective. We also customize and build bespoke dashboards as well. So based on various types of parameters, we, for example, developed this spill register, which is various types of events and things that's taken place over a period of time, and build up various risk models and dilutions of wastewater and stormwater and so forth throughout the system. Again, all of these bespoke dashboards are customizable, and you can click on any one of the features to bring up those specific inspections and spills and things that's taken place. So quite easy to, once the data is into the system, being able to query and filter for various types of information sets is quite easy and doable from the system side. I just want to come back to the presentation. So what changes for your organization and the practical outcomes from this demonstration? Basically, at the end of the day, what we're sitting with is we're sitting with a system with a single source of truth, where everything underground is now live and lives in one place, basically from CCTV footage, condition reports, photos, job files, all structured, searchable, and open from any browser. And see your network into the conditions at a glance, where the assets are color-coded by structural and service conditions, survey status, and inspection years. So problem areas stand out instantaneously without digging through many various types of reports. One shared picture for field and office staff. Updates are real time, so there's no gap between what the crews does on site and what the office sees. This means that no merging of data, no overlapping, and no disputes over which versions is current. Share permissions based access data with confidence. You can export, like I showed before, to whatever format a council, authority, or stakeholder needs, all with web links to data availability and on demand, basically, as well, with no specialist software required at the other end. This brings us to the end of the demonstration and presentation. Just wanted to open up the floor to see if there's any sort of questions. But as well, if you require any additional information or would like to have another demonstration, or quite keen to discuss some additional options, please visit our website, utilitytrack.com, and we'll be able to support you further on that. Just want to open up the floor to see if there's any specific questions.
Claude, I just thought I'd mention that there's a question in the chat at the moment.
Okay. One of the questions that comes up, does this have functionality for H2S data? So currently, we don't have that specific function in play for data loggers specifically, but any sensory type information. So if you were to to install a data logger in a pit specifically, and there is data that we can extract from it from a IoT basis, Internet of Things. We can import that data sets into utility track, couple it to that specific pit, and have that data captured over a period of time. Alternatively, we can customize a report to capture the data sets as we go. That's the only question that I have in here at the moment. I'm not sure if there's any other questions. Okay, it doesn't seem like we've got any other questions. I think I'm then going to conclude this presentation, and then if there's any other questions, please feel free to add it into the chat, and then we will be more than happy to answer any of those questions. And as Sophie has mentioned in the beginning, this will be distributed again to everybody that's registered for the system, for the event, and will be shared accordingly. I think there's some other questions that's popped up. How do we obtain access login? Okay, not sure if that was a specific question for the system, but if there's anyone that would like to have a little bit of a demonstration on utility track and would like to play around with their own data sets, we're more than happy to facilitate that and use some of your own existing data to import into the system, and you are more than welcome to play around with that data as a trial.
Thanks, Claude. Look, we've had a lot of people on the chat just thanking you for your presentation, and we've obviously got some people that currently use your system and they're really good advocates for it. So look, thanks for that. We'll wind up the webinar now. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to participate, and thank you, Claude, for taking the time to spread this information, very important information for people in the municipal works industry.